Give Honorable Junet the mic. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to seek your indulgence on a matter of national importance. Mr. Speaker, you know, we are living in, this house is the house that addresses matters of concern to the people. That's what the Constitution says. And we are in an era, Mr. Speaker, of misinformation, disinformation, and all kinds of things through the social media and all other media, places. So, Mr. Speaker, there is this issue of Ebola in the country, and a lot of issues has been raised about it, quarantines facilities in different parts of the country, but we, as a house, we don't have clear information or clear, information from the executive on how the matter began and what is happening and what is the plan and what is the way forward. So it was, I was seeking your indulgence if you can summon the minister, the CS for health, to appear before the House so that he can explain and give the correct information to the representative of the people so that we can disseminate the right information to the people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Responsible citizens. And I say that, Honorable Speaker, because at least I have had time to engage with some of these students today. I have just met the students' president from Thika High, Terence Githuku, who is in the Speaker's gallery, and two of his deputies. And I had occasion to visit Thika High together with yourself about a week or two ago, last Friday, but one actually. And today, Honorable Speaker, you have presented the contribution of members of Parliament, including yourself, and a number of us, to support. And when I went through that list of the students being supported, I've seen some students with fees arrears of up to 120,000 shillings, who, out of the benevolence of members of Parliament, they now have support to continue their education. And these are the sacrifices parents make, and we are making as leaders also to support many of these students. When we went to Thika High School, Honorable Speaker, there was a young man who is seated in the Speaker's gallery today, Isaac Mwai, who went to the school that I went to, Kikuyu Township Primary School. That young man went to Kikuyu Township Primary School, and he reminded the president when he met him at the science exhibition, that when the president 3 years ago went to commission KCPE at Kikuyu Township Primary School, that young man was a student at Kikuyu Township Primary School. But out of sheer discipline, he's now found himself in Thika High School, a very good school, and together with Terence Githuku and the other students, they are leading a student's body. And I want to speak to these young ones and ask them, please maintain discipline in school as you do at home. Many of the cases you hear, especially in this second term, Honorable Speaker, is because students probably are fatigued and want to go home. If you want to go home, you do not need to burn down anything. Not a dormitory, not a classroom, not a school bus, nothing. Honorable Speaker, I had the governor for Nakuru over the weekend pose the question, could these young ones be learning from us that whenever we want to protest, we must burn down buildings, we must burn down people's shops and people's cars? I saw the other week, people were protesting in Githurai and they had to burn down somebody's car. We must lead by example as leaders, and as parents, not just as leaders, as the people who are parents, anybody who is a parent or an aspiring parent. If we want to protest on anything as a country, let us not have fires everywhere, because these children could be copying from us or from the country. Therefore, I say that careful not to condemn anybody, Honorable Speaker, but to plead with the nation that we learn from our past mistakes. When the school in Ukambani, I think it was Changuli High School, when we lost 67 students in that school, there were measures that were taken, some of which I believe were already in place in this school. But that tells you we have a deeper problem than the physical things that we do. I don't know whether it will be enough to even put fire detectors and fire suppression systems in all these schools, but can we afford it as a country? Will parents be able to afford fire suppression systems in each and every dormitory in our schools, Honorable Speaker? Therefore, it calls for a deeper conversation. It is not enough, Honorable Speaker, today to just point fingers at each other. No, I heard somebody say that Parliament was praying when there was a fire in the school, Honorable Speaker. I know it's also reckless of anybody, whether you're in the media or you are a leader in whatever sphere, to claim that Parliament was praying at a time our children were burning in school, Honorable Speaker. The National Prayer Breakfast is something that rests in our calendar in Parliament. It is known, it is a set date. And we set that date last year. Nobody had planned for this fire, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, that person who was saying, and I don't to dignify them with naming them, because they don't need to be dignified from this floor, may I say, shame on you that you can take advantage of such an unfortunate incident to just throw barbs at this house. Even prayers, Honorable Speaker, I want to say, prayers work. And we must pray for our children. We must pray for our children in schools, in our homes, and as much as we pray for our nation, Honorable Speaker. Let me say again, this is a time that we are being called to converse individually in our homes with our children, collectively in schools, even on the platforms, political platforms and other platforms that we get, in our churches, because, Honorable Speaker, again, many of our church leaders have become more politicians than politicians. And that's why I continue to honor the Muslim faith, because I never hear anybody in a mosque speaking politics. But for us as Christians, this must be our time for introspection, to ask ourselves, even as we point fingers at administrators in schools, as we point fingers at political leaders, those of us who are serving in the church, where are we failing in shepherding these young ones in the right manner, Honorable Speaker? Because there is a failure somewhere. And I say that without pointing fingers at anybody, saying that it is a time that we need to come together and have a conversation as Kenyans and as humankind, Honorable Speaker, because we have a problem. And it is not a small problem, Speaker. It is a big, big, big problem. If we do not address it now, we will have more major problems in the coming days. Because these things that we see, these small incidences, a fire in a school, deaths in schools, an accident here and there, a small demonstration that turns out to become a very violent thing and you end up losing lives. These are just manifestations of a bigger problem that we must address, Honorable Speaker. My condolences to the parents. I have seen the anguish and the pain of those parents, and I identify with the pain that they feel. That you sent your young girl to go to school to secure her future, and now you have no child out of the actions of somebody else, Honorable Speaker. It is indeed painful, and I must say we must be careful what we say about these incidences, because we must remember their parents who are grieving, their siblings of those young ones. Yesterday, I just saw on Facebook, Honorable Speaker, a young man share the pain that he's going through after losing the sister, and sharing pictures of the time he spent with the sister, even as she went back to school this term. And that girl is no more, Honorable Speaker. It is indeed painful, and we must share in that grief and pain with those parents and the school, and also recognize that these young ones, Honorable Speaker, even those in Utumishi, are traumatized. Maybe they never imagined it would get to what it has gotten to, but it is what it is now.
Thank you.
It will affect them for a long time, and we must ask maybe the chair of the Education Committee to make sure they engage with the Ministry of Education, to make sure that there is some level of counseling that is done to these students and those who neighbor that school. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The rest, let's take 2 minutes each. Robert Mbui. Give Robert Mbui. Is it on this, Robert, or something else? There's a mic next to you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, you know, I've actually in my previous life been involved one time in handling a matter of arson in a school. And Mr. Speaker, what was surprising is that the children that were involved in that case of arson, majority of them had no idea why they were involved. And only one is actually the one who had the plan, because the intention was for the school to be closed so that they could go and restock their supply of drugs because they had run out. So sometimes there are very flimsy reasons that are used to cause these cases. And Mr. Speaker, arson is a crime. Unfortunately, when arson leads to people losing their lives, it ends up becoming murder, which is another crime. So the question we are now grappling with is how then do we try a crime that is actually at such a level as murder? Because yes, we know they are children, but then what about the ones who have lost their lives? So, Mr. Speaker, it's a very, very sensitive place we are in, and I want to agree with the Honorable Martha that maybe we don't get into too much into the details, but it is important that as we proceed, the government must come up with maybe a commission of inquiry. I remember a while back we had devil worshipping in schools, and there was a commission of inquiry that dealt with it. So maybe now we need to find out what is it that is making our children, just Kenyan children. Because, Mr. Speaker, this is not a global problem. This is a Kenyan problem. Actually, arson in schools is a Kenyan problem. Are we going to have to do away with boarding schools? Yet we know that their parents and their children who have no alternative but to have their children in boarding. So, Mr. Speaker, I sympathize with the lives of those ones that those families that their children lost their lives. But I think as a government we must find a solution going forward. But, Mr. Speaker, finally, I want to say the last time we had such cases, the Ministry of Education came up with a raft of measures, which, Mr. Speaker, sometimes is just it's like we are treating the symptoms instead of the problem. Mr. Speaker, when the ministry says, for example, that they are not going to allow beds that are wooden in schools, I don't think that's really part of that is a solution to the problem. Because if anything, if you look at some of the international schools, they have very beautiful furniture that is wooden. Now, if you say that the beds must be metallic, what about mattresses? Are you going to make the mattresses metallic? Are you going to make the curtains metallic? So we may need to find another solution, not to deal with those things on a half-baked measures. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Dorothy Kiara. There's a lot of interest, so take a minute each.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to join Honorable Mother Wangari, MP for Gilgil, in condoling with the families that have lost their loved ones. Honorable Speaker, the immeasurable pain, torture and torment that these parents are going through, including their teachers, the classmates who are alive, it is immeasurable, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to say sincerely, I condole with those families and wish those that are in hospital quick recovery. Honorable Speaker, it is the high time that when we talk of commission of inquiries, Honorable Speaker, something that happened when Bombolulu School was burnt down, something that happened when Changuli School was also burnt down, these commission of inquiries give recommendations, Honorable Speaker, but at the end of the day, very few recommendations are implemented. It is the high time, Honorable Speaker, that we speak our mind, we search and know what is really healing our students in our schools, come out, Honorable Speaker, and come out with the recommendations that, Honorable Speaker, will cure this. Even if it means having our schools as day schools, so be it, Honorable Speaker. Life is more precious.
Otienda Molo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I condole with the families that have lost the little ones. And I think we must accept that we have all failed the children who perished. We failed them through the school. We failed them through the government. We failed them through policies. And even we as Parliament, we are part of those who failed them. We must collectively apologize that we have failed those children. Mr. Speaker, this has become a trend. The idea of banning schools and school unrest is a trend that must be examined. As we examine ourselves, and I agree with the majority leader, we must examine the values that we are instilling in the children. We must examine the place of religion. Many of us, when we were growing up, raising a child was a collective responsibility. Now it has been left to the parent and the teacher. The teacher is disempowered because there's not much the teacher can do other than warn. Many of us parents, once we submit the child to school, we wash our hands. The child is left to the internet. Some of the things they are doing are things that clearly can only be brought from the internet. We must re-examine even the place of access to the internet for everyone. Mr. Speaker, I say only two things as I finish. One, I think it is time that as Parliament, we form an ad hoc committee to examine unrest in schools. It is not enough to leave it to the department anymore. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I think that we must also re-examine the circumstances that we're putting the schools to. If you look at the images of that school, and that's a high-end school, you see that the dormitory was highly congested. There were beds on the corridors, there were beds next to the door. This 100% transition without the proper infrastructure is part of the problem. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Meli? Okay, Meli, yield the floor, you'll speak later.
Yes? Let me comment last, yes.
Listen to others first. Yes, Mwalimu Taitumu.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. First of all, let me tender my condolences to the families that lost their young ones. Number two, Mr. Speaker, this is an exhibition of high levels of moral decadence in our society. Our moral social fabric, Honorable Speaker, is wanting. In relation to what happened in Utumisi Academy, Mr. Speaker, some principals live in ivory tower, such that there is no flow of information from teachers to the principal, particularly where we have the girls. The men who teach there, they cannot pass information to the principals because if they do, at times they are victimized, hence bringing a gap between the administrators and the teachers who should be manning those institutions. As it has been said by the majority leader, Mr. Speaker, it is said that monkeys see, monkeys do. What is happening in our society today?
Your time is up. Mama Zamzam.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, na mimi niweze kutoa rambirambi zangu kwa shule ya utumishi kwa watoto walioteketea na moto. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni jukumu letu sisi sote, na hasa nielezee wazazi jukumu la kumwachia mwanafunzi kwa mwalimu ni jukumu ambalo ni lake yeye mzazi, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, hii ni mambo ambayo yametokea, sio mara ya kwanza Mheshimiwa Spika. Ni wakati umefika mambo haya yaweze kuangaliwa, na mwalimu pia niweze kumwelezea kuwa ikiwa mwanafunzi unaona na uzito wakati wa mtihani, tusiwasukume sana. Na nielezee pia wanafunzi, na wengi wako hapa, kuanguka mtihani sio mwisho wa maisha. Pengine hii ndio inafanya mtoto anaona mtihani umetolewa tarehe 16 hadi tarehe 2 hapa anaamua kuchoma shule. Hawa ni criminals Mheshimiwa Speaker, wanafaa kuwe ndani, na wazazi pia wa take responsibility. Tumepoteza watoto wengi sana Mheshimiwa Speaker, akiwemo mtoto kutoka Mombasa. Kwa hiyo mimi na
Kangogo Boen.
Mr. Speaker, let me join my colleagues also to condole with the family of the 16 girls. Mr. Speaker, and to say as a parliament and as a country, Honorable Speaker, we need to reflect and relook again this issue of boarding schools. Mr. Speaker, if you check in the developed countries, there are very few or even no boarding schools. I think we need to relook about boarding schools as a country. Number two, Honorable Speaker, we need to come up as a country and also as a ministry, and the Chairman of Education, Meli, must listen to this, Honorable Speaker. We need to have a standardized and policy
especially on the domes across the country, Honorable Speaker. You will find that there's what we saw from those domes, they were very congested. In a cube which is supposed to take 12 girls, they are more than 12.
Wangwe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to join my colleagues to condole with the family of the 16 girls who lost their souls during the inferno. Honorable Speaker, whereas the fire was taking off in Utumishi, it also happened in my constituency. 2 schools, Emulama Primary School and Ingotse Boys High School, Honorable Speaker, together with Chabuisi High School. Honorable Speaker, this is a bad precedent that we are seeing. The issue we must look at is, can we call for a whole comprehensive understanding, maybe through Parliament and any other investigatory organization, authority, Honorable Speaker, that the Parliament sets up an ad hoc committee, the way my colleague has said, to look at what is happening in fires across the country. Honorable Speaker, listening to what is happening, quoting my place, Honorable Speaker, is that a few of my students had issues, but the principal did not bring out those issues on time, Honorable Speaker. Can we have a way of understanding?
Thank you. McLeod, death has no gender.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My very sincere condolence to the parents who lost their loving ones, and quick recovery to those students who are still having injuries. Mr. Speaker, I am one of the first members of Parliament to be in that school, together with the Minister for Education, the PS, and the Minister for Interior. Mr. Speaker, what I saw is not very good for this country. Mr. Speaker, even today, I am equally affected because one of the students comes from Barwesa, and their father is Raymond Kangogo, Chepkonga, and up to today, they don't know where their daughter is because out of the 16, 11 students have not been able to be identified. So, Mr. Speaker, I ask also the forensic people to speed up.
Your time is up. We should try to come to an end on this. Wanjala. Wanjala.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. First, I send condolences to the parents and Kenyans to have lost young kids. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, I want to advise Kenyans, when they are demonstrating, they should not be burning tires on the roads, because these are some of the things children are seeing, and they want also that when they have a problem, they must burn schools, the way their parents and protesters burn roads. Honorable Speaker, even the parents of those children, or even the parents of those children, I saw them at the police station and they behaved like those children. That means show me your friend and I'll tell who you are. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Naomi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My sincere condolences to the families who have lost their loved ones, the young ones. It is unfortunate that we have lost so many lives as a result of fire in schools. Again, my sincere wishes to those who are in hospital for quick recovery, as I also pray that those students will be given enough counseling, and the parents, because what they are going through is serious and they need proper attention. As a nation, again, we need to seriously address the issue of boarding schools, so that we come up with clear strategies to protect our children from such incidences. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I give my condolences to the families of the girls who lost their lives. Mr. Speaker, what I want to encourage us, this is not the first time as a country that we are facing this. So let us not have knee-jerk reaction to this situation, condemning parents, condemning teachers, condemning everyone, when this problem might be much bigger than this. Let us, after this, look comprehensively at what the situation is. It's not necessarily about boarding. It may not necessarily about people burning tires, but we could be facing a much deeper problem. Let us, after this, look at what is bedeviling our country, especially our young ones. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Can we end here? Omongina. You are Omsubat, you are not Omongina.
But they have given me the mic, Mr.
Omongina.
Speaker. Yeah.
Not you, Donya.
Obviously, this is Omongina. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also want this afternoon to send my condolences to the families who have lost their loved ones, the very young souls who are going to be very vibrant in our country. We want to say pole sana for what has happened, and I want to talk to parents. My dear parents, wherever you are, let's take up our role as parents to advise our children, to talk to our children whenever they go to boarding schools. Those children need our guidance. They need to be taught on how to behave, on how to live with others, and for sure, this has been the greatest setback that we have had as Kenyans, and the forensic investigation should be done.
Okay, Donya.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. The issue of boarding schools, Mr. Speaker, we as members of parliament can pass a law that says something on boarding schools, which I suggest we should not have boarding schools because, Mr. Speaker, more deaths have come because of these boarding schools. You can all remember, honorable members, when our children open school, we are told a certain bus has caused an accident, a certain bus, all the directions where our children go. That's number one, and safety for our learners. Number two, we must have suggestion box in our schools so that our learners can express their dissatisfaction, and the committee which will be formed can go around, Mr. Speaker, and get to know what the learners are going through. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Meli, tutafungia hapo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to
order, Meli. Who do you want to inform, Karolo Mondi? He's not said anything worth being informed. Go on, Meli. Meli, go on. I'll give you 2 minutes as chair.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to join my colleagues and Kenyans in conveying my condolences to the parents, to the families, to Tumishi Academy and the Republic for the loss of the 16 children. Honorable Speaker, members have spoken here, and I want to join them and agree with them in a number of issues. But more importantly, Honorable Speaker, fires in schools and riots is not a new thing in this country. You remember the Kilifi incident where we lost so many students. A few years ago, we had the fire in Endarasha. Now we have fire in Tumishi Academy. Honorable Speaker, schools are actually a reflection of our families and societies. What has really happened, it has been recommended all these years. I remember the Kilemi Muria report, which investigated schools, and even the Koech report of 2007-2008. We had the Kilemi Muria report of 2015-16. And one of the things that they discussed, Honorable Speaker, is the safety of dormitories, safety of learners, and how those windows should be structured. In fact, through that recommendation, Honorable Speaker, they recommended schools not to have grills, that doors should open outside, and many other recommendations. Honorable Speaker, the biggest issue that we have is the implementing agencies, not sticking to policy, not sticking to programs, and more importantly, putting students, so many students to be congested in schools. A few days ago, Honorable Speaker, you realize that we admitted grade 10. And majority of day schools in this country, with so many classrooms, enough teachers, do not have students because there was no proper admission processes. So that you'll realize a number of C1, C2 schools, crammed schools with thousands of students or hundreds of students, and they went even against the advice of the Education Committee. Honorable Speaker, I know the homicide group is investigating.
Give him 1 minute.
Yes, the homicide team is investigating. I had a discussion with the IG, and they are doing a good job. I even discussed with the Member of Parliament, Honorable Wangari. But the idea here, Speaker, is actually to crack the whip, especially on management, on the issue of overcrowding, and more importantly, also let's come back home and see how we can carry out the discipline process in homes, not only in schools, and even across the country.
What's the point
Honorable
of
Speaker.
order? Milemba?
Yes.
Take your seat, Meli.
The honorable member, who is also the chair of education, is very well aware that is the one who presided over the intake process of the grade 10. And it was done in such a manner that there was no limit. And schools are under serious pressure, Honorable Speaker. And even preliminary investigations are showing that the girls who banned the dormitory were grade 10. And he presided over that process together with the minister. Is in order to say...
I already directed Milemba that don't say anything that would prejudice the homicide investigation.
Apologize, Honorable Speaker. So please let me ask him to be very, very candid and also very straight that there's something wrong in the policy of intake which has made the students to be completely congested. By the way, Honorable Speaker, it's all in all the boarding schools, and let's do away with the boarding schools. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Carola Mond, what's your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to inform Honorable Meli that all we have been discussing is the hardware, but we have the software, which I did present successfully before his committee, the Education Laws Amendment Act, that would enshrine our national values in the curriculum, because what we are dealing with is failure of national values. Actually, what we are now discussing is the hardware portion of it. But if you look at the situation in Utumishi, it is collapse of the value systems that has led to this crisis. And could now the honorable member, majority leader, speed up the tabling of the education amendment laws so that we can entrench nationhood science as a mandatory subject in our national curriculum to deal with this kind of problem.
Yes,
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I do agree overall with the honorable member for Suba, because he came before the committee, and that is a very good idea. Suba South, yes. But, Honorable Speaker, I do not agree with my good friend, Honorable Milemba, because I do not preside over admission processes in this country. We oversight the Education Committee, and we did mention to them that problem of overcrowding, and I don't want to go into it because we are having investigations now. But generally, I want to say that our schools, it is not an issue of boarding. It is because majority of us, including Mr. Speaker and myself and everyone else, went to boarding schools. And that time, no one was being banned. No schools were banned at that time. We need to relook again on how we are running our policies and programs on school systems in this country. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll end it here. Honorable Meli, you had members talk of an ad hoc committee to deal with this matter. Your committee under Standing Order 216(5). We don't need an ad hoc committee. Your committee can investigate, inquire into, and report on all matters relating to the mandate, management, activities, administration, operations, and estimates of the assigned ministries and departments. So you can move your committee without being caused by the House to not only look at Utumishi, but all the other schools that are going up in flames, and tell the country what is the problem and what the possible solutions are.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I take it up, and I think that that has been the issue, because when I was discussing yesterday, the IG told us that the homicides are out. Now we are going to sit down and see how we are going to investigate and carry out those issues, not only for Utumishi Academy, but the whole country. Thank you.
Member for Thika, what is it?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I just also wanted to inform Honorable Mary, just 1 second, that when we are looking at all these things, in these schools, I think we need to have therapists or counselors. Some of these children, they need somebody to talk to, and then I think the pressure is too much, and they don't know where to wear their issues. So I would say when we are looking into it, we look at their mental wellness, because at times I think they have too much pressure, but they don't know where to vent the pressure. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
And honorable members, I think one member said, and I want to encourage, talk to your constituents. Parents have surrendered their children to social media completely. There are hardly any parents who sit with their children to tell them the do's and don'ts of life. The parents feel that once you give your child a smartphone, your problem is over. It's the beginning of an even bigger problem, and we need to deal with that. Honorable members, allow me to acknowledge in the public gallery HGM Tinganga School from Kiambu Town, Kiambu, Mwanyalo Comprehensive School from Undanyi, Taita Taveta, Mutwangombe School from Mwingi Central, Kitui, Kiriti Senior School from Tetu, Nyeri, and from the Speaker's Gallery, Ruadia Girls School from Kangema, Muranga. On my behalf and on behalf of Parliament, we welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. The next statement, the response, is Gitari in the House. Honorable Gitari. And the Chair, Administration and Internal Security. I've been informed that in Ngeleche, you are holding brief for the Chair. Are you? Are you ready with the statement response?
Speaker.
Go ahead.
Thank you. This is a statement on the operationalization of administrative units in Kirinyaga Central Constituency. Mr. Speaker, the Member of Parliament for Kirinyaga Central Constituency, Honorable Joseph Kitari, has requested to be appraised on the delay in the operationalization of administrative units in his constituency. The Honorable Member particularly sought to be informed, A, the reasons for the delay in operationalization of the administrative units within Kirinyaga County, specifically Kenyei, Kadare, and Kiaga administrative units, and B, the expected timeline for full operationalization of administrative units, including deployment of personnel and provision of the necessary infrastructure. I state as follows. A, the reason for the delay in operationalization of the administrative units within Kirinyaga County, specifically Kenyei, Kadare, and Kiaga administrative units, Honorable Chair, the Ministry has adopted a phased approach in the operationalization of new created administrative units across the country to ensure equitable distribution of resources amongst all counties. This phased implementation was necessitated by budgetary constraints that have affected the deployment of personnel, establishment of offices, and provision of necessary infrastructure and logistical support for the units. Consequently, the operationalization of Kenyei, Kathare, and Kiaga administrative units in Kirinyaga County has experienced delay due to the inadequate funding. Additionally, the Ministry is developing regulations to guide the process and modalities for the creation of gazettement of new administrative units across the country. A key requirement in the gazettement process is the demonstration of adequate public participation in line with the provision of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. Additionally, the government must consider the financial implications associated with the establishment of new administrative units, including the issuance of authority to in car expenditure, that is the AIE payment of personnel emolument and facilitation of officers deployed to the new stations. B, the expected timeline for full operationalization of an administrative unit include deployment of personnel and provision of the necessary infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, the timeline for the full operationalization of the administrative units is dependent on the availability of adequate budgetary resources. Once additional funding are availed, the ministry will immediately commence the deployment of personnel and provision of the necessary infrastructure and logistical support required for the operationalization of the gazetted administrative units. The ministry remains committed to bringing government services closer to the people and therefore appeal for the National Assembly to allocate additional resources to enable the ministry to operationalize all gazetted administrative units across the country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Gitare, that is very clear. Is there anything else you want to prosecute? Yes, Honorable Gitare, there's a mic next to you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the response that we've gotten from the chair. Mr. Speaker, the only thing that I wanted to inform the chair is that public participation was done for all those sub-locations. Maybe we can talk of the budget constraints and the others, but that was done.
Melechei?
Mr. Speaker, the chair is around and I think he can respond to it.
Once you start, you go to the end. This is not a relay.
Thank you.
Yes. We'll end it there. Yes, Junet? Give Honorable Junet the mic. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to seek your indulgence on a matter of national importance. Mr. Speaker, you know we are living in, this house is the house that addresses matters of concern to the people. That's what the Constitution says. And we are in an era, Mr. Speaker, of misinformation, disinformation, and all kinds of things through the social media and all other media, places. So, Mr. Speaker, there is this issue of Ebola in the country, and a lot of issues has been raised about it, quarantines facilities in different parts of the country, but we, as a house, we don't have clear information or clear, information from the executive on how the matter began and what is happening and what is the plan and what is the way forward. So it was, I was seeking your indulgence if you can summon the minister, the CS for Health, to appear before the House so that he can explain and give the correct information to the representative of the people so that we can disseminate the right information to the people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Junet. Honorable members, I was visited in my chamber by the Chair for Health, the Honorable Dr. Nyikal, who sought direction on this matter and wanted to deal with the matter in the committee. The matter was also raised in House Business Committee, and the House Business Committee resolved, and I have directed that tomorrow at 2:45, we will have the Minister for Health, the Honorable Duale, in the House for strictly 1 hour, because tomorrow is an allotted day, and I've instructed the Majority Leader to communicate with the Honorable Duale to be in Parliament not later than 2:30, so that at 2:45, we give him 1 hour, and the members with concerns will make their interventions after he gives a statement to the House. On the same matter, Karoli, what is it?
Honorable Speaker, for the benefit of the general public and pursuant to Article 35, but also I think Section 23 of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, could we also ask the Minister to avail to the House all the relevant agreements and subsequent protocols regarding our cooperation on matters of health with the United States of America?
You ask him when he comes here.
Yes, tomorrow. If he can bring those documents too. Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Nyikal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
On your separate issue, I think on Ebola we have dealt with it. You wait for tomorrow.
And I just wanted to add a little on Ebola. As we had indicated the committee level, as we'll deal with it in the House, I think there's still need for the committee to go into a lot more details.
Let's deal with the matter tomorrow, then I'll give you direction.
Okay, thanks.
Now I've given you the floor on what you requested.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I had requested, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to make a personal statement on the death of my father, Mzee Eliud Nyikalo Kaka, who died on 11th of April 2026 at the grand old age estimated to be 104 years. He was buried on the 2nd of May this year at our home in Seme constituency in Kisumu County. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I wish on behalf of our family to truly thank this august House and express great appreciation for the support we got from this House and other arms of government and other arms and institutions of government of Kenya. Starting with you, Mr. Speaker, the clerks of the National Assembly and the Senate, leadership of both houses, and all members of both sides of the divide of the Parliament, I express great appreciation. I express more appreciation for 3 members of Parliament, Honorable Patrick Munene, Honorable Ron, and Honorable Martin, who coordinated very closely with our family during the preparation for the Mzee's funeral. Mr. Speaker, I also got a message of condolence from His Excellency the President. Many cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries passed their messages. Some principal secretaries also visited our home in Seme to grieve with the family. Mr. Speaker, some of this I did not really expect at all. Mr. Speaker, governors from various counties passed condolences and support to our family. Numerous colleagues from this House visited our home. From the medical fraternity, professional bodies, and academia condoled with us. Mr. Speaker, it is rare for a person who is neither sitting nor a past member of Parliament to be eulogized or even mentioned in this august House. You, Mr. Speaker, offered my father this rare opportunity to be mentioned and eulogized in this House. As a man who valued education, hard work, integrity, and good governance, I believe his spirit will appreciate this. Mr. Speaker, the presence of so many members of Parliament, so many of you, my colleagues, at the burial on the 2nd of May, left me humbled and members of our family speechless. They didn't expect it. Many governors also attended. Mr. Speaker, it was a great and solemn occasion, though tainted by a sad incident towards the end. The incident was when a political leader arrived at the function with a large group of rowdy followers who proceeded to interrupt the funeral. The group harassed political leaders, some of whom had to leave before the service was over. Many mourners were frightened and scattered. Mr. Speaker, this incident raises a serious national issue on how we, as political leaders, conduct ourselves at funerals. Funerals are sad and painful occasions for families where they need utmost peace to grieve. Are they really the occasions to settle political scores with other leaders or demonstrate political might at the expense of grieving families, visitors, and scattering mourners? Should funerals not be just the occasion for leaders to wish families well in their painful circumstances? Is humility not a core of service to the people? Mr. Speaker, is our habit of moving with great and rowdy crowds in our families and crowds in funerals and disturbing families and the public in general, is it in order? Mr. Speaker, is it not possible that our standing orders may even look at our conduct in public, particularly where there are serious interference to public order? Mr. Speaker, I leave all these questions in the minds of us leaders here for a serious debate now or in the future. But above all, Mr. Speaker, I particularly wish to thank this House, thank you, and thank you all my colleagues for the support you showed when I lost my father. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and the whole House.
Thank you, Dr. Nyikal. Robert Mbui, you had requested to raise something, or is over?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise on Standing Order 83. And this is, Mr. Speaker,
Order members, can you disband those kamkunjis?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise on Standing Order 83, and this is on orderly conduct of debate in the House. Mr. Speaker, Standing Order 83 allows members to raise on points of order when another member is making contribution. And ideally, Mr.
you are out
Speaker,
of order. Who are you menacing? Take your seats.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So the Standing Order 83 basically deals with a point of order can be raised at any point when a member is on their floor contributing. And this is on any motion or any debate. But Mr. Speaker, we have noted that many times members are interrupted when they are raising their concerns or when they are debating on very frivolous points of order. Mr. Speaker, the standing orders are clear. The matters upon which a member can be interrupted. It could be probably they are being irrelevant, maybe they are being asked to substantiate something. But Mr. Speaker, many times members stand up on points of order, but they don't even mention what point of order and proceed to actually execute their own debates. So Mr. Speaker, my concern is, how do we handle this so that members can get an opportunity to debate, this being a debating chamber? Mr. Speaker, I also wanted to point out the Standing Order number 97, which, Mr. Speaker, deals with the limitation of debate, the amount of time that a member is given to be able to execute their discussion. So, Mr. Speaker, when another member rises on a point of order and you are on the floor and you have a maximum of 5 minutes, does that mean that if that other member spends 5 minutes on frivolous points of order, that 5 minutes is taken out of the member who is on the floor? So, Mr. Speaker, I wanted you to give us direction so that as we organize ourselves to debate, we know how to do it in an orderly manner so that members don't take advantage of the standing orders, which are very clear, and try and attempt to circumvent debate in the floor of the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Robert Mbui. I've heard you. The rules of the House are very clear. If a member is on the floor and you are debating something and you embark on a misadventure that is irrelevant to what is on the floor, you attract interventions and interruptions from your colleagues. When they do so, you will not be spared by being given added time. But whoever is in the chair, if the points of order are evidently frivolous, as you put it, or calculated at wasting your time to pursue your points, the chair has a discretion to give the member on the floor additional time and even to curtail frivolous points of order. Because if you look at the standing orders, a member who consistently and persistently stands on frivolous points of order can be ruled to be out of order and grossly disorderly in his conduct. So this decorum should be observed. But I've always also told you that the cant and banter of debate is such that we are not in a church where the priest's homily is not interfered with. We are in a house of debate, and sometimes interventions and interjections and cross-floor speeches also liven the house. But we will not encourage members who deliberately interrupt others on a manner that is inconsistent with the subject on the floor. The chair will always give you additional time. And I'll speak to my team, from the deputy speaker to my panelists, to ensure that that is done. Yes, Milemba?
This is not frivolous, but the honorable member who has stood on that point of order, we had a chance of this parliament sponsoring us to both the Westminster and Australia. And he was there when we witnessed the type of debate that goes on in the Westminster Parliament. And it's thorough, it is investigative, and guys, people come with real facts and points. And therefore, it's very unfortunate that he wants now to take us back to the boring debates where you cannot be challenged if you're not having the real facts quickly. I would really advise that, and when we came out of the place, Honorable Speaker, we agreed that even those of us in the panel under you must allow debate and facts and challenges. I want to remind Honorable Mbui.
Honorable Milemba, you are saying what I've just said. So you are irrelevant. That is exactly what I said. That when you are in the chair, this is not a church where the priest's homily is not interfered with. This is a house of debate. And if somebody is irrelevant, he will attract the wrath of his colleagues. If somebody is raising good points, I remember when I was in the House of Senate, I would finish my speech of 1 hour and members would demand that I be given extra time to carry on with the debate. Because you are speaking relevantly and educating your colleagues on issues before the House. But if you stand here and you start attacking your DO, who is not a member of, who is not a subject of debate in this House, certainly you will attract other members to tell you off. Next order. But thank you for raising that, Robert. We want to have quality debate and members to be given time to debate matters meaningfully. Yes, Millie?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I largely do agree with you, and I think probably what the honorable member is referring to was last week when Honorable Ndindi Nyoro was being taken on by several members. Mr. Speaker, I think that was one of the most lively moments in the House. This is not a funeral, Mr. Speaker, and I even told Honorable Ndindi that he's actually learned the art of opposition very, very well. It's just that we shouldn't personalize issues too much and, take things too much to heart, but raise our issues of concern in a manner that also makes the House lively. It's not a do or die, Mr. Speaker. So I think let us also, we used to call it in the other House comedy hour, but there's many serious things that are said in jest. So we can say our serious issues in jest. I think let's not make this House, and I think you should not be worried because you did a good job even when you're sitting as Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, and I can tell you, Honorable Millie and others, that it is perfectly in order to challenge a member and ask him or her, when was your soul moment? When did you transform from Saul to Paul? This is part of debate in the House, and I would not see anything wrong with that. If you somersault like a chameleon in your debate in the House, you attract your colleagues to challenge you. Next order.